See how that goes. All right, folks. Interesting. We broke it. We broke it. We broke the algorithm. We hacked it. We figured it out. We're back. It says we're live, but that's okay. Get the chat running here this morning. Missed you all. Have you heard of Web 3.0? Yes, I'm using it right now. No, Brody. No, what? You crazy? Brody. All right, Johan, how you doing, buddy? I don't know what's going on. I tried to refresh the stream and things got a little bit silly here this morning. Glad to have you in the chat there, Johan. Stuff happens. Couple minutes here. Life gets kind of hard when you're new at something. All good here. All right. Excellent. It's working good now, so people will start arriving. Excellent. Thank you, sir, for that amazing confirmation here this morning that the stream is working well. Thank you, Johan. Thank you so much. I'm really enjoying your dark singles that you've been posting over on Twitter. I'm enjoying them popping up on my feed. I like the living daylights out of them every single time I see them, so I'm glad that you keep posting those. Continue to do so. I got your message. You are definitely looking at collecting the whole set of the dark. Dust my eyes deceive me. Let's get some articles going on here this morning. Must read. Must read going on this morning. Little news for you folks this morning. Got cool stuff for you folks here, and I'm really stoked to bring you this show today. Everybody joining in on the channel, you won't be disappointed. I'm glad you're here. Have you heard of Web 3.0? Are you already using it? Do you even know what the hey who is that is? Nobody knows. We're going to go over it here today. Yes, we are. We'll touch on it. We'll talk about it just a little bit here this morning. All right, April showers bring May flowers, but what do May flowers bring? Pilgrims. You're going to get the entire set graded. I hope you do. The grading thing is something I've never done. It's a little bit expensive, a little bit difficult to do, and I wish you luck with it. I've got cards that I'd like to get graded, but I've been holding on to them because I just can't seem to bring myself to send them away. All right. How does a taco say grace? Let us pray. Let us pray the stream goes well today. We should have a good one. Richie Dubs in the house. A few other folks joining us here this morning. I had pre-scheduled a stream, but you know how YouTube is. Oh, you've got a grading company called Raucard. It's not that expensive. Enjoy. Awesome. Is DARPA Net Internet 1.0? It could very well be. DARPA. Not many people know about DARPA. Interesting. Listen, Richie, there's one rule about Project Mayhem. You don't talk about Project Mayhem. First rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Bring it on. We got some folks in the chat here this morning. Love it when a plan comes together. Usually the stream's working good, but, you know, Brody's days can't be without challenge. Can't go one day without somebody stepping on your toes, riding on your coattails, or trying to get you down. But you know what? We will always persevere. Good morning, folks. Let's do it. We're all here. The most important folks in the world. Good morning, shining stars, the amazing fans, people, beautiful people in the entire world across the plane. Thank you once again for tuning in. I want to thank each and every one of you folks for joining us here on the channel. Those of you who are tuning in on the show this morning, wherever you go, bring Brody with you, right? Whether you got me dragging from the bumper of the car, whether you got me on the dash, maybe in your back pocket, you got me on the kitchen counter next to the coffee pot. Wherever you are this morning, I want to say thanks for bringing me along for the ride. I got a really good show here for you folks this morning. It's going to be a little bit fun. We got some articles from the stock desk. We got a few things to go over. We got some headlines for you folks this morning. And I know your time is valuable and you don't have time to waste. So let's warm up just in case. We're going to go over a couple of AI generated magic cards here this morning. We're going to talk a little bit about some AI generated magic cards. Let's do it. Got to make sure the stream is working good here. You know what I mean? Police on the scene, you know what I mean? Police on the stream, you know what I mean? Oh yeah. It's going to be one of those days nothing is working right here this morning. Great. Factory default settings, right? Let's go for it. Let's see if we can get the screen capture working. Having a good time here this morning with you folks. What's going on here? We did it. Oh my goodness, we did it. All right. Give me just 33.3 fractions of a second here to get this working properly because, you know, because of reasons. Factory default settings. Always find it strange, you know, you walk away from the computer and then like this is like Web 3.0, right? There you can't own any software. The only thing you can do is subscribe to it. If you want to use, you know, some software, you're going to have to like get the updates, and then every time you use it, somebody's going to jump in there and reset everything on you. Factory updates. That's sort of what Web 3.0 is, but not exactly. We're going to cover it here this morning. We're going to talk Web 3.0. You guys ever hit the I got a question for you guys. Have you heard of Web 3.0? Vote in the polls. If you haven't, I'll let you know what it is before we go here this morning. All right, we're going to warm up with a couple of AI generated magic cards here this morning. You know how it goes. I know your time's valuable and you don't have time to waste. So let's go over the rules here for you folks this morning before we get into the show. We got a good one for you here today. If there's any gibberish on the card whatsoever, we fail it. You're going to hear this sound. That's right, the buzzer. The sound of the buzzer, coach's favorite sound. And if it's a decent card, if it's playable, even if it's a little overcosted, you'll hear this sound. Sound of the dinger here this morning. Let's make sure that's coming in loud and clear. All right, step into the ring with me here this morning. It's Brody. It's the Bro Show. Let's go. A Cornet of Grim off 1, the Flamestorm. Okay, plenty of talk, plenty of speak on this card here this morning. What does it do for us? All right, let's check it out. It's double red and 1 enchantment spell. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets 1/1 and has different powens. Create a powens. Couple of powens for you folks. Okay, and then you can pay a 1 and a red into it and create a 1/1 colorless avatar creature token. All right, seems okay, but I mean, no. Let's get it out of here. This sucker is just complete gibberish. I'm gonna give it some gibberish. Let's vote. Let's see what people are voting for this morning. I want to check it out. Powens. Enchanted creature has 1/1 and different powens. Word of fair, OP, playable word salad. Yeah, word salad. Some people say it's fair, but I don't know. Oh, we got no audio. No audio. No audio, Mike? How's the audio now? Do you hear me coming in? Bill Brain says, "What's up, clean shaven Brody?" Good morning. Yeah, Brody's looking a little bit cleaned up this morning, right? Did you get your hairs cut? No, I got them all cut. Brain's got audio. Super backer. Turn your speaker up. Just I'll wait for you. Turn your volume up. Try that. All right. We got some AI generated magic cards here this morning. Yeah, that's right. Brody's looking fine this morning. Just fine. I hope you guys are too. Let's check it out. Brody's looking cleaned up this morning. Got in a fight with a weed whacker last night. Brain's got the audio. Super backer. That's okay. We're doing some initial tests here. We're going to run some tests on this stream here. We're going to check out this swamp. You know what I mean? Swamp on the scene. You know what I mean? Basic land, swamp. This one's a little dark. The visual is not too bad. It's a little dingy, a little dark. I don't know if it's a swamp. It looks more like a back alley. I don't see the swamp in this art. I don't see it. But let's give it a ding. I don't really like the art. Can't really give it too many props for having decent art because it does not. All right. What about this card? Brute Lewd Mystic. A cat creature. We need more cats. Little kitten. Let's check it out. This is a mystical cat. Lifelink 1/2. That seems on flavor. 1/2 lifelinker. A mystical cat. Brood Loot Mystic. Whenever Brood Loot Brute Lewd Mystic deals combat damage to a player, you may pay blue and 2. If you do, gain 2 life. Just gain it. Get a couple of life. Anger Collections in the house. Brody, get your ears lowered. Something looks different about you. I did. All right. I got my keep them coming, Richie Dubs. I love it. Richie Dubs, thanks for joining this morning. I love it. What do you think of this Brute Lewd Mystic? Lifelink, whenever Mystic deals combat damage to player, pay a blue and 2. If you do, gain 2 life. It's like bad lifelink. Like terrible lifelink. I think we could probably pass it. Seems okay. Not bad. Is the dinger working this morning? Let me know. Michael, how you doing, buddy? Dual brain. I knew it was an imposter. I don't think Brody must be out like cracking a packets. Is your volume working this morning? Is your audio working, Michael? Let me know. We're testing the stream out. We're doing some AI generated magic card reviews here for you folks. What do you think about the Brute Lude Mystic? Is it fair, unplayable, or word salad? I think it's fair. Not OP, that's for sure. Alex, pretty funny. Oh my OMG. What's up, Michael? Did I make you laugh? I hope I did. All right, let's look at this card here. Niv Commando. This card's Niv Commando. This card's going commando here this morning for a red and 2. Let's see here. The volume was off. No, you're not. It's fine. People make mistakes. I'm just trying to help you out. I like having you in the chat. Can't do the show without you, Michael Superbacker. All right, let's check this out. Niv Commando. 1 red and 2 for a 2/2. Whenever Niv Commando attacks or blocks, you get an energy. Holy smokes, AI is bringing back energy for us. Whenever Niv Commando attacks, you may pay 2 energy. If you do, create a 4/4 white angel berserker creature token with flying. Let's give it a pass. That seems fine. Let's give it some pass for your task this morning. We're rating these AI generated magic cards. I'm sad to see the AI can't understand why energy was a bad idea, right? We can't. And that's just another idea that happened. All right. What do you how do you evaluate Niv Commando? Fair OP, unplayable word salad. Let's give it a fair. All right. Seems fair. I lost MTG Gaming Bob in the shuffle. I don't quite have everything figured out there, Dual Brain, for the pre-scheduled live streams, because I started the live stream and then like it was running and saying it was notifying me that I have an upcoming stream, but then I started streaming and that never went away. So woke up half awake and the first thing I got to get is the show on. I guess I need the coffee this morning. Awesome. Thanks for joining us. Okay, let's check this one. This is where we left off yesterday. Siktol Jajira. 0 mana for this light. Huaquap. Artifactizan. -4, -2, -1. Tap. Mountain Plum Cuff its kicker. Flash. OMG. Very interesting. Very interesting here this morning. I got a poll up. If you guys all good, we'll figure it out. We'll try to figure it out here. And I think that's it for AI generated magic cards here this morning. Yeah, we're back to the Fervent and some other ones here today. Okay, so little tip for anybody watching, and there's 4 of you. Have you heard of Web 3.0? If not, let me school you up just a little bit, okay? I'm gonna go over this once and once only. For anybody who's watching, you can catch this on the replay, but I want you all to take a good, quick look with this for me, and we'll show you where to find it. All right? The internet, webmail, internet mail, and like just basic HTML coding, where there were pages where you could go and visit and read only. That is Internet 1.0. All right? Internet 2.0. What's that? All right, because a lot of people don't know what Internet 3.0 is. So I'm gonna go over that with you here this morning. So Internet 1.0 is read-only HTML. Tommy Siddons, why you sitting on the fence here this morning, right? Don't sit on the fence. Join us like Tommy Siddons. Sit in the chat. All right. Tommy, do you know what Web 3.0 is? We're going to explain it here. So while you got you folks in the channel here, because a lot of people don't know it, and there's people throwing words around that they don't know what they mean. They're just talking out their armpits, and I can't stand it when people don't know what they're talking about and they sound foolish, but they stand up there and they try and tell you that they know how something works when it's completely transparent and obvious. They're completely full of bullspit. So, Web 1.0. I'm going to go over this for you folks here once and once only for you folks watching. I'm not going to mention it for a while because this is a magic show, but it relates to magic cards and I'll tell you how to do it. So Web 1.0 is HTML, email, and basic read-only web pages. That is the internet when we got dial-up and just like a Ethernet cable where you plugged into. Okay, that's Web 1.0. Web 2.0, dos punto zero, is what most of you folks out there are familiar with. It's anything that has interaction. You have a button where you can, like this here, very good example of Web 2.0 because it's interactive. There's a button. I can click here and it's going to do something else. It's either going to take me to an outside link or it's going to give me some feedback, and it's going to, payment systems like PayPal and stuff use this, payment servers and payment processors, anything that has a button on it that you can click and it goes both directions where you can interact with the web page. That's Web 2.0. All right. So now we want to get into some interesting part here for you folks. And you notice I've got my browser. I'm showing my browser. Brody's showing his browser this morning, right? Oh my gosh, you're looking at Brody, pull your browser up. Stop showing off your browser. What is Web 3.0? So I don't know what are you guys using for browser? I don't know, but let's just move this over here and I'm just going to move it off to the side for you folks because right here, I'm going to point this out for you folks right now, and you probably have the capability to use it and you don't even know it. Right here, no matter what browser you're using, okay? Tommy Siddons, pay attention. Michael Superbacker, pay attention. Ed, the Dual Brain, Richie Dubs, everybody else, pay attention. You want to know what Web 3.0 is? You see this little puzzle piece in your browser? Now, I'm using Brave, and there's some people using Chrome out there, but regardless what you are, there's a browser extension button on the toolbar of your browser next to the address bar. In Brave, looks like a puzzle piece, and on Chrome, it might look a little different, but I believe it still looks like a puzzle piece. That's what it is, okay? Click on that. And most people don't understand what that is. So you go, what is this little puzzle piece? This is where you can load extensions. Right now, I don't have any extensions enabled. No access needed. These extensions don't need to see your change. Manage extensions, okay? No, we're not talking about Brody's length of his beard or the length of his hair or, a wig or anything. And what do you mean about an extension? This is where you can add extensions directly to your browser. And those extensions can be used to interface with web pages that are supporting those extensions. Now, if you're using Google or you're using Chrome or you're using whatever web browser you have, there are going to be web extensions that you can enable. So you click on this and you can add any number of extensions. You can get a wallet. So right here, wallet, Bitdefender wallet, anti-tracker, and there's a ton of them. You can actually look in here and search for them, right? You can look for these extensions and see what they are. You can get them from the web store. So any of these extensions, Web 3.0, see this one here? I'm going to show it to you here for you folks in a second here. I'm going to bring this over. So right here, this is MetaMask. There's an extension that you can add, and Brave has a ton of them. There's a Brave wallet. Brave wallet. Okay, look, Brave detention. So now with Web 3.0, we talked about what is 1.0. We talked about what is 2.0. MetaMask is the best one. It's one of the original ones. It looks like a fox. So this is Fox guy here. So anybody who's using a web browser has the capability of using Web 3.0, and it can be used to interface with any websites that support these extensions. And this is Like when you go to a hotel, okay? Brody went black. It's fine. Don't worry. I'll be back. I'm not gone anywhere. I'm still here. So let's say Tommy Siddons and I, we go for a vacation, right? Maybe we go visit Michael Superbacker in Boston. Okay, so we're going to the hotel and we go to the hotel lobby and we want to check our emails, right? So we go and we check our emails. We go and we're using Chrome or we're using whatever the hotels are using. We're using Gmail, right? So you can log in into your personal login on the browser that you're using, and then when you leave, you're like, make sure I like sign out, right? Make sure you sign out, because then the next person who jumps on that very same computer can access all your emails. So we already are accustomed to like a personal web interface with the internet and browsers. You're already doing it. I know you are. But Web 3.0, it means this. It means you've added some extensions like these wallet apps that you can use. And what the heck does this have to do with magic cards, Brody? You're just rambling on about nothing. The extendos, right? Tommy Siddons knows what we're talking about. So, and I'm going to teach you something here important here this morning. It's very cool. Okay, so let's go. When in doubt, whip out your browser. Tommy says the extendos, right? Okay, so keep your hair short. Those extensions. Okay, so now let's go. Why does this matter, right? What does this have to do with anything? What does it have to do with the? This has nothing to do with nothing, Brody. Why do we care? Well, I'll tell you why we care. Because there are some places where you can add these wallet apps, and you can go and buy magic cards using their wallets. What? No, you can't do that. That's impossible. Yeah, you can. I'll show you where to do it. Okay, so first thing you're going to have to do is start using Web 3.0. It's fine. Let's just replace this here, okay? So anybody who's talking about now, what does this allow us to do? Okay, what does it allow us to do using these extensions? Okay, so you can add a wallet directly into your browser, and that allows you to make microtransactions, because there's people out there talking about microtransactions and they're blathering on and they don't know what they're talking about, and you know who you are. But this is what Web 3.0 is. When you go on Magic the Gathering Arena and you buy gems, right? And it's hooked up directly to your credit card, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to buy 10 gems, or I'm going to buy these. Those aren't really microtransactions. Sure, they're transactions, but it's not Web 3.0. And it's not a microtransaction. So if you want to add a browser wallet to your browser, you can do that. And why in earth would you ever want to do that? Well, I'll tell you right now. Let's go to this website right here, Purple Mana. Okay, write this down. I'm going to school you folks here this morning because I love you. I want you to know about this, and you should know purplemana.com. Okay, here's a magic card site. You can buy cards with crypto. Okay, any cryptocurrency out there that you have directly in your website wallet, use this card. This is Web 3.0. This website uses Web 3.0 because you can get an account here, you can join their community, you can buy any of these magic cards on here, and you can do it right out of your web wallet. You don't even need your credit card, you don't need to send them money, nothing. You can pay for it directly from your web browser using a wallet extension. And that is Internet 3.0. Okay, if you guys have never heard of it, you're hearing about it here this morning on the Bro Show. And this is the show, the best darn Magic the Gathering show in the world, in the planet, nigh the multiverse. And I challenge anybody else who is out there who has made a video and has talked about this, because nobody's doing it. And why am I doing it? Because I want you folks to get the fun into your collection, and I want you to know how to buy and sell magic cards in the most advanced ways that are out there on the market. And this is one way to do it, Web 3.0. Now, what is a microtransaction? When you buy these magic cards here, you can log in and you can go and, toy around. Go visit Purple Mana for yourself. Don't take my word for it for anything. Go there yourself and check this out, okay? You might want to, if you need a hand, give me a message on the Discord later. I'll walk you through it. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty easy to do. Anybody can do it, but security. Web 3.0 is the use. Let's look and see what the Internet Doodle says about it. Okay, yeah, Web 3.0 uses blockchain technology, and it uses Web 3 is an idea for a new iteration of the World Wide Web, which incorporates concepts such as decentralization, blockchain technologies, and token-based economics. So some technologists and journalists have contrasted it with Web 2.0, wherein they say data and content are centralized in a small group of companies, sometimes referred to as big tech. So Web 1.0 was HTML, basic read-only web pages, blog posts, email, going back and forth, just very simple web. Web 2.0 is what most of you guys are used to, using third-party payment servers such as PayPal and any other. See, the only people who are allowed to take payments and send payments on the interweb are those who are like approved, like by agencies, let's just say that. But Web 3.0 is decentralized. Each individual, just like when you go to the hotel and you're like, can I use your lobby computer to check my email? You go down there and you sign into your own email account, your Gmail. You go, okay, what's my Gmail address? What's my password? Sign in. Now you're that one user, and you can see your email. With Web 3.0, any of your wallet extensions that you have in your toolbar will come up. Say you're out. Say you've got this all set up, right? Me and Michael Superbacker. We're partying in Hawaii hard. We're just like giving her, and like we're hanging out with Tommy Sit-ins and Ed the Dual Brain. We're just chilling out, and then there's a magic card that's on our radar. We're like, I want to buy it, right? I don't even have my wallet out, on my credit card out. I just go. I log into a computer, any computer, and these wallet extensions can come up, and they're linked directly to your personal browser account. And now you can you can go over to Purple Mana, and you can like pick up any of these magic cards and pay for them directly out of your browser. So yes, coach, Web 3.0 uses blockchain currency and blockchain. So anybody who watched I'm calling this out because I don't like it when people talk, and I would never mention this unless somebody started spreading bad information out of it. I want you guys to have some good information. This is an example of the fees associated with this. Okay, so say for example, you use PayPal or use Card Kingdom or use any of the current payment processors for Web 2.0, you're going to get a fee. So that little bit of money that PayPal charges you, that isn't, but the only way they can do it, because they're not using Web 3.0. PayPal's not Web 3.0. PayPal's Web 2.0, because it's like a conglomerate of tech companies that get to decide who gets to make payments, right? So they take a fee and then they just add that on top. And then at the end of the month, they charge you. Microtransactions are transactions that are very small using Web3 technology, blockchain, and the Internet of Things to make very small transactions for very small fees. So when you make this, say for example, when you make this purchase over at Purple Mana, because you want to buy some magic cards, you want to buy some Snapcaster Mages, you want to buy some Tolarian Academies, you want to buy some Lion's Eye Diamonds, you want to pay for it with crypto, you can do it here at Purple Mana. And if you got Web 3.0 activated in your browser, and like the little transactions, like the fee, you can send money back and forth for very little and very fast and for very little, next to no fees. And that is a microtransaction. Anybody who's telling you any different is full of it. They don't know what they're talking about. All right. So that's what's new in the world of Magic the Gathering. And it's not new. I'll tell you, it's maybe new to some people. And I hope that you folks tune in the morning show because I love you guys. I want you to have all the information. And this is the show where we tie it all together. I've never mentioned this before, but sometimes when people start going out there and talking about stuff they don't know what they're knowing about, I have to step in and say, hold on, like Willow Priestess. Like we cover that card on the second. That's a card that's like on the bottom 10 of the reserve list. And then when somebody shows up and is like, hey, this Willow Priestess is a great card, like it's great to give credit where credit is due. Like Benson, that's a good guy. Like he's like, hey, Brody, let's figure out how to break this card. But never did he say, uh I thought of this all on my own, right? I had somebody teach me this. Okay, so knowledge is not like I didn't invent this. I didn't like come up with it on my own. And when people teach me something and they show me something, I like to pass it on to folks because knowledge not shared is a waste of energy. If you're not sharing knowledge with people, you are hoarding energy and you're being a hoard of energy in the world and you're consuming energy and you're holding on to that, and that is not good for the universe and the planet. Information should be shared, it should be free, and if you weren't born with any of this knowledge, you never came into the planet with any knowledge knowing anything, somebody taught you or you had to learn it. And if you don't share that information with people and give credit to people who teach you things, then you're doing the world a disservice. You're just being an information hoarder and you're selfish and you're just trying to keep everything for yourself. And that's not a good way to go through life. It's going to be really tough for people who do that because if you're sharing information, sharing is caring, and it makes the world a better place when we all come together and put our heads together and we learn and we tell our people our sources and who showed us something. So I got some good friends who have been working with me for a very long time. I've been looking at Web 3.0 and how to do it, and I've been researching it. It's risky. There are some inherent risks in anything new, and sometimes you got to suck at something new to get good at it, but that's just the way life is. As soon as you get over the fact that you're going to suck at something when it's new to you, embrace it. Just like Brody's amateur YouTube stream, right? I've sucked at YouTube when I first started. I couldn't make videos. It was slow. It was choppy. I stuck with it. I talked to Ed, the dual brain, a great source of encouragement. One of the very few men in the world that would react and comment with me and give me some guiding principles and some good tips and always helping me do better. And that's what it's all about. I love people like that. I got no time for people who are selfish with information and don't share because they're just a plague on this world and we don't need any more of that. So when I'm talking to you folks about Web 3.0, I'm talking about it because I want you to know that it exists, that it's out there, and there's another way to buy Magic cards. Now, enough of that. Let's get into some headlines here this morning. It's going to be a good one because we got some interesting headlines here for you folks today. All right, articles, and particles, liquid nanoparticles and articles, right? Let's go. You want to talk smart? The Brody is smarter than a fart. All right. The 10 most valuable March of the Machines EDH reprints. Do you guys recognize this card here? It's almost like the internet is, and I wish Cosmic Seeds was here. Cosmic Seeds, are you watching? Anybody who participated, Timmy's Emporium's here. Anybody who participated in the Herald of Hoofbeats stream that I did the other day when we were talking about this new card with horsemanship, this is a card that came up, and I love it when I talk about something and a couple of days later, the internet shows it right back in my face. You ever wake up like a deja vu? Well, doing the show with you folks is my deja vu because we come out here, we talk about stuff, and then 3-4 days later or 2 days later, you got people out on the internet showing the exact same information that you talked about before not too long. And this is a card. This card right here is a card that we discussed a couple of days ago, and I'm excited to see it and talk about it because this is the Hero of Bladehold. Heck of an art on this card, right? Kylan Prudon. Who is that, right? All right, let's go. Let's get some comments rolling in the stream. Are you starting the new Yellowstone spinoff, Brody? Why not? Who is this gorgeous Matthew McConaughey replacement? Get out of here. You're too kind. Hey, I stumbled across that card. The artwork is terrible. isn't terrible. No, it's not. Remember, Timmy, when we did the stream there? Right? We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Brody here. Let's go to Hawaii. Hit the like, people. All right, time to start having the plot of Superman 3. Met the guy at okay, so Dual Brain met that guy in Philadelphia from Purple Mana. Okay. Running joke, my friend, between 2003, the internet was made for magic and the other magic, right? That's hilarious. Chat overlay is cool. An extension to your browser. It's like a prosthetic peeper. Yeah. Now, why do I bring that up? And I'm talking about the world of finance, and we're talking about the world of finance and paper money. Paper money has to stick around. It's very important that paper money sticks around. We can't go digital because you can have both, but you can't have one and not the other. That's my personal opinion. And I want you guys to know that this is already out there. The technology already exists. It's just not evenly distributed. Let's check this out. Top 10 most valuable March of the Machines EDH reprints. All right. This article at a glance is going to cover Tireless Tracker, Kaikar, Winds of Fury, Karn's Bastion, Knight Exemplar, Secure the Waves, Ancient Stone, Elspeth, Venture's Banner, Calonia, Hydra, and Hero of Bladehold. The full deck list for March of the Machine Commander pre-constructed decks has been finally released. Cavalry Charge looks a bit ahead of the other options regarding financial value, but the financial forecast should look differently from what it will in a couple weeks' time. The two most significant things to note are that new commander cards released in these EDH decks do not yet have a confirmed monetary value. The reprints that these decks offer have not yet hit the secondary market. As such, the value of these reprints will likely drop once these decks are released to the world. But for now, here are some of the most expensive reprints appearing in the March of the Machines pre-constructed EDH decks. We'll be taking prices from MTG Goldfish for this particular list. Tireless Tracker. All right, we got the Tireless one. Interesting card. Tireless Tracker is a mid-range favorite capable of providing a growing body that can also draw a lot of cards. It's a good card. I think it costs 1 green and 2. Can't really see the mana pips here because they cut it off. But whenever a land enters the battlefield, it should just say landfall, investigate, but this is a little bit earlier. Whenever land enters the battlefield, you get to investigate, which means you make a clue token, and you can sacrifice a clue to put a 1/1 counter on Tireless Tracker. Card's really good in lands. It's also good in modern, and when the card gets going, this sucker gets rolling. Pretty sweet. The Tireless Tracker is tirelessly putting +1/+1 counters on it. Good morning, Titantaman. So let's check it out. A little favorite, mid-range favorite, capable of providing a growing body that can also draw a lot of cards. This card creates clue tokens, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, it gains +1/+1 counter every time you sacrifice a clue. The card had a competitive history in modern, but Tireless Tracker is generally too slow to compete with the postmodern Horizons metagame. You'll find this nostalgic MTG creature still sitting around $5 in the Tinker Time Commander deck. Next card up, Kylar the Wind's Fury. So Kaikar, Tyler, Tybar, Tymar, any version of this card will do. It's a white, red, and a blue and 1 for this 3/3 flyer. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you get a white 1/1 spirit. You can sacrifice a spirit to add a red. Any spirit. This seems decent. If you're playing spirits, you can sacrifice it, any single one. All right. Kaikar Wind's Fury is a nightmare of a commander to see in an opponent's command zone. This commander likes to cast a ton of non-creature spells, creating spirits. In the process, these spirits can be sacrificed for red mana, which can be used to cast more spells. Notably, Kaikar's ability to sacrifice spirit tokens for red mana does not specify that the creature must be untapped. As such, these tokens can play double duty in a Convoke deck. Using Kaikar spirit tokens, Convoke for a bigger spell before sacrificing them to cast even more spells. You can find this at $5 in Convoke theme Divine Convocation pre-constructed deck. This card's getting a reprint as well with Karn's Bastion. This is the land that I thought was really good. I think it should be worth a little bit more, but nevertheless, it's a couple of bucks. This one here, Karn's Bastion. Is that Brody or did some teenager take over the show? Looking clean this morning. OMG. Are you doing a fit test? Ha ha. No. Robert O'Brien, that's a great comment. I love it. No, Brody doesn't have to go to the patch no more. No patch for this guy. So be it. I don't have to do that anymore. No more fit tests for this boy. Nope. Not doing it. Can't make me do it. No way, no how. Karn's Bastion. Taps for a colorless, 4 and tap it for proliferate. I can protect everyone here, but those I will. I can't protect everyone here. I can't protect everyone here. I can't show everybody in the world what Web 3.0 is, but those who are paying attention, I can and I will. I'll teach you how to buy magic cards using Web 3.0 from Purple Mana. I'll do it. Nobody else is talking about it. Well, I might as well talk about it. It's like, it's incredible. Now, if you, here's next level, okay? Here's the next level. Let's bring it all together. And I'm going to do that here this morning. I'm giving you some for instances that can be pretty interesting. And if you guys don't appreciate this, it's fine. It's fine. All right. This interesting utility land was first released as part of the War of the Spark. The card offers a colorless land that can also be proliferating at the cost of 4 mana and a tap. Considering how central the proliferate strategy was to Phyrexia All Will Be One, it's unsurprising that proliferate utility land has a $5.50 price tag. This card can be found in the growing threat EDH pre-constructed decks, which can be used to grow the +1/+1 counters on your incubator token. Number 7, Knight Exemplar. I love the history of Benalia card. It's a bit of a knight tribal, right? It's great. Oh no, a younger version of I know. I am a time traveler who is traveling back in time, Gaming Bob. My best buddy, MTG Gaming Bob. I'm sorry I kind of jerked you around this morning with the pre-planned stream because I'm learning how to schedule my live streams. I want to do a little bit of coordination with Mr. Ed over the Dual Brain. We're going to be doing some interesting stuff here in the future, so I look forward to it. Let's check it out. All right. Knight Exemplar is one colorless mana and 2 white. So you're like Mirran Crusader mana. 2/2. First strike. Other knight creatures you control get +1/+1 and are indestructible. All right. This seems pretty good. There's that Benson even brought up that Cavalier card that gives all your knights double the strike, I think. Really good. If you're going to build Knight Tribal, Knight-themed commander decks are making its way into March of the Machine. Reprinting of the Night Lord is an incredible one, as in it makes sense. Only this card is difficult to block in combat, but Knight Exemplar can make all your other knights indestructible. Knight Exemplar was an early speculation for many finance-savvy MTG players following the reveal of the new Eminence commander. Leading this deck, ironically, that's getting reprinted, Knight Exemplar isn't too likely to exceed its current asking price of $6.25. Which brings us to the number 6 most reprinted cards in Commander in the new March of the Machine set is Secure the Waste. 1 white and X, put X 1/1 white warrior creature tokens into play. Secure the Waste is found in Jeskai Divine Convocation decks, and it's a great tool to turn mana into creatures. Convoke decks, these creatures can be used as additional mana, making them Secure the Waste an absolutely ridiculous, Expelliarmus, and ridiculous form of ramp. Secure the Waste is best used in Convoke decks like this and has potential when synergized with a strongly represented by its $6.50 price tag. Did you know that they're remaking Harry Potter? There's a FYI, anybody who hasn't seen it, heard it, you'll hear it here first. You're going to hear it today. You're going to be remaking Harry Potter. I hope you're all excited for that. I hope Wizards of the Coast doesn't get their hands involved in it because, you know, stuff can happen. Ancient Stone Idol, Benson's in the house. Who is this guy? Right? Who is this guy chatting? A 10 mana's Ancient Stone Idol, flash for a 12/12, costs 1 less for each creature that's attacking. Trample, when it dies, you get a 6/12 colorless artifact creature token with trample. All right. Ancient Stone Idol is a Bazaar Commander card that rewards players for going wide and attacking with many creatures. You can even play the Stone Idol for free if you have enough attacking creatures. The reward awaits you, and it's a gigantic 12/12 creature that cannot be blocked efficiently and leaves a body behind after it falls. Initially the printed card in 2018, you can now find this Phyrexian-themed Orzhov Growing Threat EDH pre-constructed deck coming out in March of the Machines. The card's $7, got a price tag on it for $7, and it may be due partly to its low availability, so many lose a significant amount of its value due to its reprint. Elspeth Sun's Champion, also coming in, what's that, number 4? A huge jump in value that starts with the number 4 spot in this list. Elspeth Sun's Champion is one of the most powerful planeswalkers ever printed. This one is 2 white and 4. You +1 create 3 soldier tokens, -3 destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater, and -7 the ulti is you get an emblem with creatures you control, get 2/2 and get flying. So a huge jump in value for this card in the number 4 spot. It's Elspeth, the Sun's Champion, one of the most powerful planeswalkers ever printed. The absurd +1 loyalty ability of this card is incredible, allowing you to create an army of tokens. This is coupled with a board wipe effect that ignores tokens that Elspeth creates, and an ultimate that turns those tokens into massive win condition. Considering all this, Elspeth's Champion currently fetches about $12 on the secondary market. This card's available in the Divine Convocation Commander deck, which, while fitting Elspeth's recent transformation, gives the creature tokens whimsical application. The deck in question cares about Convoke, which means the creature that are created by Elspeth Sun's Champion can be used to pay for the Convoke cost. Vanquisher Banner. Here's a card that MTG Gaming Bob and Coat of Arms. We were discussing this just the other day with the Herald of Hoosbeats deck stream, and I love it when I see these cards show up in articles after we were discussing them just the other day. Vanquisher Banner is the 5 mana artifact that's an anthem for colors. It comes to the battlefield, you choose a creature type. Now, MTG Gaming Bob, see, this is what I'm talking about. When people give me tips, I like to say who gave me the tip, right? And people who don't do that are just kind of funny. I don't understand them. I think they need to take their head and smack it against the wall, right? Because they think they invented something. I didn't invent something new, but MTG Gaming Bob told me the strictly better difference between the Vanquisher's Banner and the Coat of Arms. When you put them side by side, you got 5 mana for each one. Except the Coat of Arms, it helps your opponent draw cards. Whereas this one, or buffs your opponent's creatures as well. This one is only on your side. So a lot of people like Gaming Bob like this card a lot better because it's only your stuff that gets +1/+1. And whenever you cast a creature spell, you have the chosen type, you get to draw a card. Vanquisher's Banner is one of the most powerful energetic tribal payoffs, and is found in Commander, found in the Knight Tribal Cavalry Charge deck. Vanquisher's Banner is currently retailing for around $14. You can give all your creatures under a chosen creature type a slight buff while drawing you a card whenever you cast a creature spell under that name. It makes you a lot less susceptible to board wipe since you still have to play plenty of resources to follow up with it. Thanks to Banner card draw ability. That said, it's obvious in reasons that this card will only see play in a tribal deck. Numero dos, the second card from the top here. We got pretty low EV on the new set, hey? I hope they make a gritty Harry Potter, right? Sounds like Brody looks like somebody else. Don't worry, the Chin Farm is fine. It's doing all right, Robert O'Brien. This Hydra is 2 green and 3. It's got trample. It enters with 4 1/1 counters, and when it attacks, double the number of counters on each creature you control. There's an impressive $15 price tag and a very impressive for pre-constructed commander deck reprint. Anyone familiar with the pre-constructed deck themes can probably figure out where this card comes from. Found in the call for backup counter theme precon, Calonian Hydra is a walking creature made out of 1/1 counters. Every time the Hydra attacks, it doubles the amount of these counters and every single creature you control. For reference, it's also a backup ability that does the same thing. It's easy to see how the snowball effect can quickly get out of control in an unsuspecting one-shot to your commander pod. The biggest boom for Calonian Hydra is its ability to double the 1/1 counters on the creature, every creature you control. This card's very powerful, and you don't have if you don't have synergies, but there's 5 mana creatures that can probably do more for you if that's the case. And the number 1 card, we discussed it just the other day when we were talking about Knights and the Herald of Hoofprints or Hoofsteps or Hoofbeats and everything else. The Hero of Bladehold. Now, the art on this card is fantastic. I'll tell you, I like it. I'm fond of it. It's not too pretty bad. But there's other versions of the art that are also pretty darn good. This one says Battle Cry. Whenever this creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets 1/0 until end of turn. And when it attacks, you get 2/1/1 white soldier tokens onto the battlefield that are tapped and attacking. So they're like 2/1s. Okay, so you get a couple of 2/1s. It's also a knight. So Herald gives this horsemanship. It's got a horse on the card. It's pretty darn good. Hero Blade holds technically the most expensive reprint currently found in the March of the Machines pre-constructed decks at value of $15. It's got a few cents more than our second pick, but the Hero Blade hold is only one person army. Not only does this card trigger a universal attack boost on attack for your creatures, but the Hero Blade hold also creates 2 tapped 1/1 creatures. But are they 1/1s? I think they get 2 plus 1/0. Or does that trigger first and then you get this? I think you could probably stack the triggers however you like. I gotta ask. So this means that when the hero represents a massive 7/6 worth of stats on its own, when it attacks, the creature tokens can stack, creating extras for 2 worth of stats every attack step. This card can be found in the Cavalry Charge reconstructed deck. It's going wide as stats matter. The reprint could be great in addition to your commander deck. So appreciate this article from the folks over at MTG Rocks, a pretty good and interesting article on the reprints, touching on some cards we just did speak about just the other day. Okay, let's talk about Dungeons and Dragons. Hate to upset you guys this morning, but let's bring one more article into the stock desk, and it's about Dungeons and Dragons, and I want to bring it to you folks here first. So from bounding into comics, you got an article here. Dungeons and Dragons is to remove half species from the player's handbook, which creates an entire idea of inherently being racist. Did you know about this? So I'm not a D&D player, but I know a lot of folks are, and some people love that game. And now with the mashup of Dungeons and Dragons into the Magic the Gathering world, it's an interesting concept to see because there's halflings, half orcs, half this, half that. It's always been sort of a part of D&D as far as I know it. I've rolled a character once, and then you could choose to be like a half orc, half human, or you could be a halfling, or you could be a half of one species and a half in the next. But apparently Wizards of the Coast, who is the most, what were they called earlier this year? The most just company, one of the most just companies in the world, has just decided to remove half species from the player's handbook because his entire theme is half species. Yes, Robert O'Brien. I think it's kind of funny. LOL. In their latest step forward on their long march to profits, Wizards has revealed that they will be removing the concept of half species from the Dungeons & Dragons player's handbook on the grounds that they're not comfortable including an inherently racist concept in the game. How dare they? Right? How could they be so racist for so long, right? And finally correcting and retorting on their ways. This forthcoming update was first announced publicly at the recent D&D Creator Summit, an event where Wizards of the Coast gathered for a number of notable personalities ranging from the game developers, content creators, and providing with a sneak peek at the Dungeons & Dragons upcoming release. Following a rocky start from the summit, marred with various technical difficulty issues, the publisher eventually hosted a demo of their upcoming D&D virtual tabletop, which D&D-led rules designer Jeremy Crawford, the senior story designer Chris Perkins, also at studio art director Josh Herman appeared in a Q&A for the attendees. Eventually, the post-demo Q&A turned into to the topic of Wizards of the Coast's ongoing efforts to sanitize D&D, beginning with the question about how exactly the publisher makes use of their sensitivity readers. We don't send everything to the same people all at a time, Crawford explains in their content review process, and yada, yada, yada. So if you want to read a little bit more, you can find this article. The team of game designers and storytellers were not experts in cultural inclusion, he added. We're focused on what damage this creature can do. That's why everything goes through inclusion review now, and everything in our game brings out delight. Even reprints are going through inclusion review. That's why some older books are changing too. Further elaborating on Wizards of the Coast process, the designer detailed, we get a full report when the address issue identified. We have a conversation when it goes back to the reviewers so that they can see what we did and comment as to whether or not it addressed the issue. We also send the art, even the sketches, through the review process. And Jeremy thinks that it's an inclusion collaboration because it's just a conversation going on. All right. To this end, Crawford then confirmed that due to the game now having 4 elf variants for players to choose from when creating a character, standard elves, half elves, wolf elves, and the drow, the player's handbook will soon be revised to do away with half species. Frankly, we're not comfortable and haven't been for years with the options that start with a half. He's explained in his decision the half construction is inherently racist and we simply aren't going to include it in the new player's handbook. Unsurprisingly, Crosser did not expand on his accusation and thus reasoning behind it. So you got a half art, you got a half elf, and half orc here. Some technical traits, soon to be memory holding race depictions of half elves and half orcs from DFD official website. If you play Magic, and are you ready for the new Harry Potter remake? If certain people get their hands on it, you can bet there's going to be some changes. Brody, did you look at Pure Steel Paladin and Mirror Crusader? We looked at Mirror Crusader and we looked at Phyrexian Crusader. I didn't look at the Pure Steel, I don't think. By that logic, yes, it is insane. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Yeah, I guess they're gonna remove some characters from the game. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I gotta make myself a cup of coffee. All right, folks. So Web 3.0. Now, let's get back to Web 3.0 for anybody still tuning in, because that was the nugget that I put at the beginning of the stream, and I'm going to touch on it a little bit. Could you imagine? Because, like, we're going over to Twitter, right? This is the show where we bring it all together, right? Let's wrap it all together, right? So could you imagine? Here's the hack. Okay, you want to talk about life hacks? And I'm going to out this hack right here for everybody, and I hope somebody can make sense of it. But check this out. We talked about it just the other day. Elon Musk changing the Twitter logo to the Dogecoin, right? So right here is the Dogecoin. It's not a bird anymore on Twitter. It's the Doge. See, little Doji dog? So Elon Musk, with a stroke of a pen, he's like, hey, or maybe just told them, he says, hey, change the logo. I want the Doge dog on there. And as a result of that, you're like, Brody, why the heck does this matter? You're talking about Twitter and Dogecoin, right? Well, we're going to get there. So because Elon Musk did that, the price of Dogecoin went up, actually 30%. So if you could imagine, if you had Web 3.0 browser activated and you had Dogecoin in there, all of a sudden you get a 30% gain just on a tweet, right? Now, I'm not saying to buy Dogecoin. In fact, I'm saying don't buy it. I'm saying just be careful. But Dogecoin, because it went up 30%, and then like now it's coming back down, right? So just on a tweet, Elon Musk was able to move the price of Dogecoin. But then if you look on it over here, you've got this Purple Mana website where, you can pay for cards with cryptocurrency. So like with a push of a button at instant speed, you can cast, I want to buy this card from Purple Mana with cryptocurrency. So you see where I'm getting at? This can be quite a fruitful adventure for somebody who knows what they're doing. You're buying cryptocurrency, or you're holding on to cryptocurrency. It goes up. You come over here. You buy some magic cards because you want to average. You don't. The Dogecoin's going to go back down, right? Like it's down 8% today. It was up for a hot minute, and if he tweets about it again, it could go up. But if you're holding a bunch of Dogecoin, and you're like, what do I do, right? What do I do with my crypto? This thing just went up, right? I don't know what to do with it. It just goes up, and then I can't sell it. Nobody's taking it. Find somebody who takes it. Like crypto, like Purple Mana, right? And then you cash in, you get yourself some magic cards, You want the, you know, like that's a totally viable option, right? So I just want to point out that hack, you know, the ability like that you could do this. If somebody really wanted to, they could do this. And that doesn't mean people aren't doing it already. They're just not talking about it. Right? So any of you Dogecoin holders who got a 30% bump up in price, I hope you came over to Purple Mana and bought yourself some reserve lists before the price went back down. And then those cards will already be on their way to you in an envelope while the price of Dogecoin is coming back down. All right? Microtransactions. You heard it here. You heard it here correctly, folks. I want an Alice in Wonderland set. I can't wait for the HP remake of Ron Weasley. Right? We're going to have some interesting discussion. Thanks for joining me this morning on the Bro Show. Let's get into some movers into shakers here this morning, right? It's funny. Some people won't talk about this stuff, and why not? I think it's interesting conversation. I really wait for people to make some comments. I think it's great that we're discussing this. I want to get your folks' opinions on all this. I need to know the audience. I want to know, do you even care? I don't care about Dungeons and Dragons, Brody. That's not the tune. That is the wrong tune. That's the outro music. We're not done yet. We got more fun to be had. Let's just forget I never pushed that button. All right, let's look at your movers and the shakers today here, folks. Let's shake and bake with Brody. We're talking stocks, we're talking finance, and like, here's the show where you get all that stuff. Like anybody else, nobody's talking about this. I can tell you right now. Because if they were, I'd be watching them. People are like, Brody, why'd you make this Magic the Gathering show? I make the show because it's the content that I wanted somebody to make. And that's the only reason I make it, is because I was like, I wish somebody would make a show and talk about this stuff, because every time I try and bring it up, nobody wants to discuss it. MTG Gaming Bob says he ordered his March of the Machines yesterday to play some FFA 4-player over Spell Table. Did you say you're interested? I am interested. Money's a little tight right now. I need the Dogecoin to go up. I am a little interested. March of the Machines pre-release kits. Oh, yes, I'm interested. Probably with Mrs. Alfonso. She will definitely want to break into some pre-release kits. I'll do that with you for sure. Let's do it. I think it'd be fun. We've done it before with the Barrel House, and pre-release kits are a good way to shuffle up and play some fun. Let's hit that. Hit the like or you're a noob. Richie, that's right. Hit the like button, folks. Help the channel grow. Let's not hold the bro back. Let's push the bro into like next level. There's only so much time. All right, let's see. We go Modern Monday. We went Tuesday Pioneer, Pauper Wednesday. Is it Thursday already? Like, where's the time go? It's like I'm having too much fun doing the show with you folks here today. We got the Legacy list, and this is a list that I get so stoked because I would get up every single morning and I go straight to the Legacy list. I would ignore Pauper. Before I started doing the show, I wouldn't even look at Pauper or Pioneer. I'd be like, Pauper, Pioneer. And then people like Benson and Gaming Bob started giving me tech on some of these cards, and I realized how good they are and how there's gold in them hills with some of these Pauper cards and some of these other formats that are like newer. So I'm always excited to bring you Legacy, right? Because the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale, this is a card that's, this card has so much play value. It's blooming expensive. And if you're interested in getting yourself some Tabernacle, this is an expensive card. I want to get the fun into your collection. I know I'm sitting here talking about this $4,498 card, and you're like, Brody, you're crazy. I can never get that card. It's just too far out of reach, right? But with everything we discussed here today, I want you to be like Captain Ahab with your mighty harpoon. And I want you to go on the seas of the reserve list and start spearing some of these awesome cards like this Tabernacle. even trade into it. You know, maybe you're gonna buy it over at Purple Mana with a microtransaction for cryptocurrency, and you pay a small fee. You know, there's ways you can get it. I want the fun in your collection. I'd love to see you guys get one. This card's moving up in price on the reserve list. It's 4,000. Brody just wants to make lines on charts. That's all I want to do. I'm telling you right now, all I want to do is draw on charts with you folks. That's right. All right. This card, it's like a decent time to buy it right now. I'll tell you a little story about this card. When I went to the very last Cascade Games event back when Odd Pharaoh's Gift was a deck. Cascade Games last event that they ever hosted was in Portland. So I went to Portland, me and Mrs. Alfonso, and there was a card store that had one of those like claw machines, and inside the machine was like this tabernacle of Pendrell Vale. The tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. And it was like $1 a spin to try and get the thing. And then there's a guy there, and he's like pumping bills into this friggin' game, and I'm like, I gotta play that thing. I would have sat there and pumped dollar after dollar after dollar into that machine if Mrs. Alfonso hadn't dragged me away, because I was like, there's a tabernacle in the machine. I hope somebody eventually got it. This card is a really good long-term hold. It's been reprinted in a creature, you know, like Magus of the Tabernacle. It's good enough that Wizards of the Coast decided to reprint this on a creature. It's sort of been drifting lower in price, but it's still stuck around the $5,000 mark. If you get enough Dogecoin and Elon Musk tweets about it, run on over to Purple Mana and get yourself a copy of this. Okay? That's right. Vintage plays it, Blue Tinker's playing it, Brody plays it. I love this card. It's a land, okay? So the reason it's so darn good is played in lands and it's played in legacy because you don't have to cast it. You just put it on the battlefield, your land drop for the turn. And it says all creatures get an upkeep cost of 1 colorless mana in addition to their other upkeep costs. And if you don't pay it, the creature's destroyed. So there's an interesting way, if you're ever going to play this card, you got to put it down on the table. And the easiest way to play this card, even if you're going to proxy it, put it down on the table. Cosmic Seeds is here. Stefan, hope you're doing well, buddy. Some of the cards that we discussed on the Herald of Hoofbeat stream are all over the world of Magic the Gathering, including the Hero of Bladehold and some other ones that we talked about just the other day. So if you play the Tabernacle, you put it down at the best. Like, I've played this card, and you can't just put it on the battlefield and say go, and then like wait for your opponent to miss the triggers. You got to put it down on the battlefield, and you got to be like, hey, do you know how this card works? That's usually what I do. I play the Tabernacle. Like, I'll tell you how good this card is. The card's so good that I was playing against a guy who was playing Storm Charbelcher in a Legacy tournament. He went off on turn 1 and made cast Empty the Warrens and just created a whole plethora of 1/1 Goblin tokens. And he was giggling to himself like, I gotcha, because next turn I'm going to just kill you with like 32 Goblin tokens. And then I looked at him and I was like, I'm holding this Tabernacle in my hand, right? And he's like, oh yeah, I win on turn 1 all the time. And I look at him and I'm like, are you done? That's what I said. He's like, yeah, I'm done. And I like put the Tabernacle on the table. And I'm like, Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale? Do you know how this card works? And he goes, yeah, I think so. I said, well, you get to put an upkeep of 1 on all your 32 Goblin Warren tokens. And they're your triggers. You can stack them and however you want. You can, and that's the part where he completely tilted. And I was like, you can stack your triggers however you want and pay for whichever ones you want to pay for. But they all have an upkeep cost. And if you don't pay that during your upkeep, they go away. And like the guy just had spent his whole hand and his glass cannon was completely deflowered. And the Tabernacle of the Pendrell Vale will help you do it. If somebody's trying to bum rush you by getting out too many creatures, 20 minutes left. What's going on? Holidays soon? 20 minutes left? Johan Matuzzi? How you doing, buddy? What do you what am I missing here? Easter holidays, 20 minutes left. Soon Easter. Yes, happy Easter and Passover. Any of the people who are Jewish in the Jewish community, happy Passover. And anybody who's celebrating Easter, happy Easter to you folks. I hope you get some eggs. And I hope you get a chance to, observe the holiday, even if you're, observe it, enjoy it, enjoy it. We'll be late for school this morning, bro. I won't. I'll get out there. Buying a kit wherever. We'll meet up on Spell Table. We can coordinate over Discord and so on. Johan says, Dadar Kanya Oksa. Nice. Now that's a lot more efficient. Right? Good Friday tomorrow. It is. I'm glad to get a couple days of work. Right? Money's hard to come by. It is. And why is the reason of that? Let's not get into that today. We'll save that for another day. I got to get Johan's comment rolling. So we got the Tabernacle of Pendrell Vale at the top of the list. Cabal Ghoul. Here's a card I get excited about. It's up 36%. It's up $66. It's $250. It's from Arabian Nights, and it should be a little bit higher, if you ask my opinion. I'll tell you, I got this card when I was 13 years old. All right, me and a buddy of mine, we took a bus across the province, across 2 provinces to go. Okay, so this is when I'll tell you a little story. People are like, Brody, do you even play Magic cards? Like, you're pretty new to this, aren't you? When I was 13 or 14 years old, I can't remember, I got my Cabal Ghoul because Revised was out, and I loved Revised. Revised was like, and I remember I liked Revised so much. I was such a Timmy. Okay. I liked Revised so much. I'd go into the store and they had Legends and they had the Dark and they had all kinds of other expansion sets. And I was like, no, the Revised, that's for me. Get me some Revised. Give me some packs of Revised. And because I wanted like the Sarah Angel, right? And I was like hunting for Icy Manipulator. But at that time, you didn't know that those cards weren't reprinted in Revised. You were just like, yes, it's the ABU set. So me and a buddy of mine, we got on a bus and we went to see another buddy who had moved away because he was, his dad was in the military and he ended up over in another province. And we got on a bus and we took it all the way across 2 provinces because we were heading out to a big card store. It was in the big city where he lived to go and find some Revised boxes. So I go to this card store, I get in there, and I'm like, hey, do you guys have Revised? And the guy's like, no, we got 4th edition. And then I was like, huh. So I bought myself a 4th edition gift pack that had 2 starter decks in it. And I still have those cards too. And that's why I was so interested in the video Dual Brain did yesterday, where he was showing folks how to detect alternate 4th edition cards using a blacklight. Because I still have those cards, and I wonder, they were in starter decks, so I'm wondering if I have any alternate 4th edition. So I'm going to have to take a look through the collection and see. But nevertheless, I asked my buddy, I was like, what's the best creature card in the game? And he's like, well, it's easily toss-up between Cabal Ghoul and Ali from Cairo. So I bought the Ali from Cairo for about $70, and the Cabal Ghoul was a little bit more. Something like that, and I sat on it, and lots of people tried to get it off me in trades. They, oh, take that, and I was just like, no, I went out. I always have that memory of how I got the card when I was like really young. But this one's a black, and it's 2, and people used to say it only costs 1 black, and there was people who would try and play this for 1 black. They're like, oh no, it's only 1 black because you can hardly read the mana symbol here, right? It's really hard to read. Right? It's so dark, you can't hardly see it. It looks like 1 black, but there's actually a 2 next to it. So don't let anybody try and dupe you by playing a Cabal Ghoul for 1, because they're not doing it right. But back in the day, you're like, this creature gets +1/+1 counter, and it's a counter for each other creature that died during a turn that was not regenerated. I should be playing this in the zombie deck. So in my Larry Nevin deck, this card is like, it gets +1/+1 counter every time a creature dies, right? The 1/1, so it's 3 mana for a 1/1 is kind of heavily costed, but it's not bad. It's been errated to be a zombie in addition to being a ghoul. And that's a pretty good ghoul. Ah. Ah. Richie Dubs, where's the pun on this one, hey? Oh, Dual Brain says he sold a 9/5 plus quad ghoul. Yeah. If you're interested in joining, that would be cool. If it works out, I need to work out with Brody if he and Miss Alphonso are both playing. Who's comfortable being streamed, etc. I did a 4-player. Yeah. We'll talk about it. I'm gonna ask Miss Alfonso. It might not be on release weekend, but it could be the weekend after. Cabal Ghoul is the food that they eat in this. Yes, it's that's Tommy Siddons. You are hilarious. Gabagool, some gabagool. You got some gabagool. That's right. I forgot about that. I was talking about that at work the other day because a buddy came by work and he's like, what were they talking about? Prosquito. It's talking about Prosquito. So I had a buddy come by work and he's like, hey, I didn't know how to say it. I was in the restaurant. And I was like, hey, can I get some Prosquito? Right? Some Prosquito and Cavalgul. Right? I love it. Thanks. That is hilarious. Tommy, you make my day. All right. Mirror Universe. Here's a card that actually Dual Brain was talking about, like Shahrazad, and this card here, Mirror Universe, is back from Legends and going back down the reserve list and cards that do funky things. Like this one here, it's actually legal in Commander. If you look at it, I need to get myself one of these. $419 for this sucker. It's a 6-mana artifact, and you can tap it and sacrifice it to exchange life totals with target opponent. Activate this ability only during your upkeep. So you want to like drop your life total just about to 0 and then activate this sucker in the upkeep and then switch. It's really good in Commander because you can just switch with whoever's winning, right? And you give them a low life total, and the next thing you know, everybody's looking at over the guy who's winning and goes, hey, he's almost dead, right? I live near where the Sopranos was shot. What do you mean shot? Shot like bang bang shot, or shot like I'm filming it shot? Huh? Did you get some Prisquito and some Cabal Ghoul with the boys over there? Let's see what decks are using it. Bane, Lord of Darkness. I want to see Bane. Is this the card I think it is? As long as your life total is less than or equal to your half your starting life total, Bane Darkness has indestructible. Whenever a non-croaking creature you control dies, target opponent may have you draw a card. If they don't, you may put a creature card with equal or lesser toughness from your hand onto the battlefield. All right, Shieldred, Shield Spear, Carrion Feeder, Viscera Seer, Cruel Celebrant, and many others. Land Equilibrium. You want to play Land Destruction in blue, this is the card to do it. If an opponent controls at least as many lands as you do, would put a land onto the battlefield. Instead, that player puts a land on the battlefield, then sacrifices a land. So with a, like, I could just see this being played with Rabbit Excavator, Crucible of Worlds, and any land sack outlet. Pretty darn good card. So where are they suggesting it? Tanawa. Oh, the land. Oh, Tanawa. Tanawa. Here's a card off the bottom of the reserve list. A card that's $5 and it's from Mirage Blog. It's underappreciated and it's got phasing. Like I should be shouting from the hilltops, and I will be shouting from the stream tops that Tanawa is awesome and phasing is coming back. This card says for 2 blue and 3, you get a 7/7. And it says phasing trample at the beginning of your upkeep, all lands you control phase out. So you can stack this with land equilibrium. You go to your upkeep, and then like all your lands go, all your lands phase out. And then when your opponents play their turn, you guaranteed have less land than them because they're not on the battlefield. If they want to play one, they got to sacrifice one. Seems like some pretty decent tech. I know Benson's probably scratching his head over there going, oh, I can do better than that, Brody. I've got some more next level tech for you this morning. All right. Austin's Enchantment deck by Rush. Zur the Enchanter playing it. Ah, look at the new Zur. Zur. Is there much to say about Zur? Underground Sea, yeah, the blue-black dual land, the expensive one cheaper than the Volcanic Island. Here's a card, Eureka. Starting with you, each player puts in a permanent card from their hand on the battlefield and repeat this process until nobody wants to put one. This is a really good card. Phasing is almost broken in Commander Raids. Tanawa in Runo builds. I love it. East, Down, and Down was filmed in my college. Really? The Sopranos? Pew pew. Pew pews. OMG. They probably mean some pew pews. I love I just learned the pew pews this the other day. Where's Cabal de Goog? Cabal de Goog. Gabagool. That's really funny, Tommy Siddons. I'm hungry for some Gabagool. Starting with you, this Eureka. Okay. Dex using it. Omnitel. Yeah, it's like a show and tell for green, right? So you hopefully have the bigger, better threat. This can get your Grizzlebrand onto the battlefield. It can get your Emrakul, the Aeon's Torrent, your big Eldrazi. Throw in a copy of Willow Priestess in here, as well as the adaption card where you can change it. And then start just putting your Eldrazi onto the battlefield like Benson was talking about. Another pretty sweet card, the Eureka. The thing that I like about this card is the cute little art. Now, if you guys know Brody, one of my favorite there's the two of my favorite artists is Kaya Folio and Phil Folio because of the cartoony art. And it's kind of sad that we don't see very much of this. And when we were at Magic 30, I was willing to stand in line to talk to the artist panels about how they deal with well, I don't know about deal, but how do they in a workplace where all artists have to work together, how do you include an artist that takes a more cartoony approach to their renditions? Because I love the cartoony art. Like, look at you can get some expressions out of these folks that you never get any other where. And then like you got this little worm dude, and I don't even know what that is. It's like looks like a little worm spirit or something holding the E=MC². Like, isn't this the cutest little art that you ever saw? That's another reason I love. Willow Priestess has a nice cat. Yeah, you got a nice cat. Berserk. Ah, yes. Don't forget about Berserk. This card was really, really expensive back in the day. This was a turn 1 win condition because you could play it with Ball Lightning and Bloodlust. This is a 1 green. It's not on the reserve list, mind you, and it didn't see a reprinting until later on in Magic. It was printed in Alpha, Beta, and in Limited, and then we never got a printing of it until from the vault, I guess. Then they reprinted it. Right, so it took a long time to get a reprinting. Oh, Conspiracy, yes, took a long time to get a printing on Berserk, and I thought it might hurt the price, but it hasn't really hurt it. Maybe it's fallen out of favor. For 1 green, you can cast it before the combat step. Cast it before the combat damage step. So you have to cast this before you go to damage. Target creature gets trample and XO, where X is its power, so it doubles its power. And at the beginning of the next end step, you got to destroy that creature. So this is the turn 1 win card, right? You had Black Lotus. Of course, we all know what that is. And then Ball Lightning. Let's put up a Ball Lightning from the dark. Let's go with the one from the dark. So the dark gave us Ball Lightning. 6/1 for 3 red, right? So you're like, hey, I can make 3 red with my Black Lotus and cast a turn 1 Ball Lightning. But we should do a little better than that. We can put a Bloodlust on it. So you put the Bloodlust on there from Legends, right? And then the target creature gets toughness 5 or greater. It gets +4/-4 until end of turn. Otherwise, it gets +4/-X, where X is its toughness -1. This is a real weird errata on this card. It gets +4/-4, and it doesn't reduce their toughness to less than 1. So you can make Ball Lightning a 10/1 with Trample, and then but this is 2 red. So you go Black Lotus, Mountain, and like a couple mana rocks, a Mox Emerald, and a Mox Ruby, and a land. Mox Emerald, Mox Ruby, land, Black Lotus, Bloodlust, Ball Lightning, Berserk, win the game. Have a nice day. It's Gruul and it's too cool for school. Berserk. That's why this card's so good. It's played in Infect now because people just want to give you poison counters. Nobody wants to play to 20 anymore. We just want to play to 10. Fun fact, your Charizard was the first single I ever purchased in 1994 for $15. Cool. See, that's better in your collection than at the showcase at the store or even in my little brother Rudy's collection. Dak and Blackblade. Here's a great card. This is the original Legend, right? Dak and Blackblade. Art by Richard Kane Ferguson, and I think he's got a little bit of controversy about him, but the art on this one's really good. Dak and Blackblade has got power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control. I picked up a copy because I wanted to play it in my Esper Demir deck, my Esper deck, my blue, black, white deck in zombies. Then we got the Blackblade Reforged. I guess I can't spell. Where's the Blackblade Reforged? Maybe it's just Blackblade Reforged. The Blackie nope. Anyway, they made an artifact as a sword, and a creature that's equipped with it gets this ability that it's got power and toughness, gets a buff for each land you control, so that's pretty good. Grim Monolith, another card. This card wins games. Oh, it's 2 mana and it taps for 3. So Soul Ring, Grim Monolith, and then you're just like on to the next thing. You can even cast this off Mishra's Workshop. You know, have 1 mana left over and then play a 4 mana spell. It's pretty good. It's on the reserve list. The foil version of this, if you want to know why it's so expensive, this card was bought out back when reserve list buyouts were trending a few years ago, 2008, 2009. Yeah, Blackblade Reforged, right? I just can't spell today, I guess. That's my problem. I got fumbly fingers here in the stream. I got so excited talking about Web 3.0. Grim Monolith, the foil version, if you can find one, is $2,900. It was bought out. Any foils from Urza's Legacy are really expensive. Paradoxical Outcome is playing it in Vintage. Urza Lord High, Crick Son of Yargmoth, Zur the Enchanter, and Colorless Cloud Post. Hello, there's a new post deck. Walking Ballista, Thought Not Seer, Reality Smasher, Endbringer, Oblivion Stone, and the like. Ulamog. Okay, and so that's a game-winning card. And this card, Repentant Blacksmith. If you want to pick up a card from Arabian Nights, a rare, this is a good card because it's got pro-red. Now, there's decks that are pro-red decks that are using this. It's a decent card. It goes right up there with Abbey Gargoyles or any of the other cards that are pro-red. A really decent card here this morning. Repentant Blacksmith. Summon Smith. Hey, Smith, how you doing? Get on down here and forge me a new Black Blade. Pretty sweet card. Well, there's one more secret layer that's come out. Speaking of Walking Ballista, I saw this here, and this has got me kind of concerned because where are we here? Secret layer. Yeah, here. Okay, let's. It's only gonna flash up on the screen real quickly here. You see this? Secret Lair March of the Machine available for pre-order April 24th. And if you look here, they have a Walking Ballista in showcase foil. So like we don't know what's in this March of the Machine Secret Lair yet, but they are flashing their pants here, showing us a Walking Ballista with a Kaladesh invention border. It makes me think they're up to some shenanigans where, like, when Dual Brain was talking about the invention borders yesterday going on creatures, could it be that they're going to do some, like, foil treatment with that border that you can only get in a secret lair? Only time will tell. We'll know more on April the 24th, and 20 days past the month. Pretty interesting development. Ooh, Questing Beast and a few others. Secret Agent Brody's going to review this secret layer with you folks. I will. I'm going to do it. I'm going to hit up some comments here, and then I'm going to run. Brody's got to get to school. Thanks for another amazing show here, folks. I had a good time hanging with you here on the morning show. I'm going to roll through some chats, some comments, and I'm going to bug out here. Breton Forge Tender is good. Lauer and Morning Tide Pro Red. I got to write this down. Let me write it down. Breton Forge Tender. Breton Forge Tender. All right, wherever you guys go, be kind to one another. Share a little knowledge, because knowledge is not shared is energy wasted. And you don't want to be a waste of energy in the world. Teach somebody something new if you can. Thank you for tuning in on the stream. Good morning to everybody, Gaming Bob and everybody else. I was lost for the last 14 minutes and it ended. Hey. Later. .94% of you folks not using Web 3.0. Maybe that'll change.